All right, gang, welcome back to our Island Preservation Challenge here on Ronida Island. We have a little bit of an issue. Friend of mine, friend of the channel, friend that's been doing the one-tile challenge with me, let me know that he asked Crustu if the buyable pallets, which is what we've been utilizing to fill up with the silage, right, if that is allowed for the series. Evidently, it is not allowed. Not really the most ideal thing in the world, because evidently that is no longer going to be allowed for the rest of this series for me, which kind of sucks, which means the silage that we have in the silage bowl and the grass we have in the silage bowl is literally just going to hang out there for the foreseeable future until we start to incorporate the palletizer. Now, with the palletizer, I'm not 100% positive, and I don't think it does, that it will actually, that you can actually put grass and silage in the palletizer. So that's going to play a pivotal role here as we move forward in what we're able to do and what we're able to accomplish as far as money goes. So, in short, what I'm trying to get at right now to you is we are no longer allowed to sell silage out of those buyable pallets because the pallets do not sell with it. So in essence, what we're really doing, and I guess I should have thought this through when I did it, but it wasn't really... I wasn't really thinking of it in this way. You know, when we go and sell the silage, it's just selling it out of the pallet. It doesn't actually get rid of the pallet, so it's like just selling it from a trailer, if you will, right? So, so moving forward, we won't be able to do that anymore. Now, the only way really that we could, you know, offset what we did is to kind of almost start over. I'm not really willing to start over the series at this point. We've had a lot of issues with this series, a lot of mistakes. You know, but that's life, right? I mean, I'm not perfect this game. Never said I was. And, you know, a challenge like this on console is certainly more difficult than it is on PC. So we are certainly running into more issues than others are. But, yeah, so I guess as we move forward here, we will just not do that any longer, which means I can go ahead and sell those pallet boxes. They're not worth much, but, you know, we'll get a few dollars back next time we go up to the shop, I guess, right? And then we're just going to have to play it by ear for the time being. We'll take a look at the palletizer. I don't think the palletizer is outrageously expensive, as a matter of fact. Maybe by the time we're done harvesting this field, sell the corn, maybe at that point we will be, you know, able to put it down. I don't know, but we'll take a peek at it, and then I guess we'll just see how things go, right? If I put down the palletizer and it doesn't work for the silage and grass, well, then we kind of just wasted a little bit of money, right? So... you know, it is another issue on the challenge here. Another issue on not the story. Another issue within the actual series itself, I guess is how we'll put it. But we'll get through it. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well. We are harvesting the corn here, which is going to be really good for us. We're probably going to sell this corn outright. We really could utilize the money right now. Sheep are doing well. We're obviously still in May. We have not jumped. I said that. We're not going to be jumping months here, so we've got to get this field harvested, get it plowed up, and then we have 2 fields here to drill. I think what I'm going to end up doing, because if we look at the map here, this field I think will be ready next month. I think what I'm going to end up doing, which may sound a little crazy, I think this field over here to the far left, that was a cotton field, I think we're going to turn that into something else, whether it's corn or whatever we decide to do. I think what I'm going to end up doing with this field, because this field has issues, it still thinks it's combined with another field. If I go into here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You know, steering assist, it won't even detect anything. So I think what I'm going to do is end up combining this field with, I think, our coastal field. Now, it'll be even bigger, right? It's going to be a massive field. But the reason why I'm thinking about doing that is I'm going to make it entirely one cotton field. So it'll just be a big, massive cotton field here on the coast. And the rest of the fields that we have, we will focus on something else that's not cotton, right? So that's kind of the focus that we're going to be going for. That's kind of what we're going to be aiming for, I guess I should say. So we'll see how we do, right? We'll see how we do. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. It's a bit unfortunate about the pallets there, because I really thought I had found a way to get ourselves some money coming in on a fast pace here. But that's not the case. not the case. But that's all right. So we'll sell those. I'll probably... I don't know. Maybe I should keep the shovel. I was going to say I'll probably sell the shovel too, but maybe I should keep the shovel. It's not outrageously expensive, so I probably should just keep the shovel at this point, right? It would probably be more beneficial for me just to keep it, so I think we'll do that. So in other words, today we're going to get this field harvested. We'll probably plow this field up too, just so it's prepped and ready to go for next month when we harvest the other cotton field, right, the big cotton field. And then we'll drill something in that field up there. I'm not sure what we're going to drill. Been kind of rotating around different crops. I kind of like that idea of doing that. I've kind of also thought about, you know, we said we're going to maybe sell the cricket production and you know, move it elsewhere too, right? Somewhere flatter, and then just expand that field a bit. We can still expand that field. In the last episode, I said I don't think I'd be able to, but we can. It'll just be an awkward shaped field. But what we could do is, you know, a lot of you have mentioned it, and I think it makes sense. We could do some kind of a rice in that. We have to put down a rice field, right? But we'll see. Maybe not this time, but maybe next time we'll do that. Since I've already got it plowed up, it'd probably be more beneficial for me to put something else in there. And we're not going to be selling those crickets right now anyway. We really need the crickets for a little bit longer. Especially now that we know we can't make any money off the silage from those pallet crates, right? So, all right, we are full, so we're going to go ahead and unload this. I'm just going to back it up a little bit here. There we go. And then we need to well, it's not going to be a full pallet if I unload another one, is it? Yeah, it's not, so I need to harvest some more. So this is a big field, so it's going to take a while to get this done, but we are moving along nicely here. We really are. We're getting a lot out of this, which is a good thing. Corn. It's not bad right now. 1141. It could be better, obviously, in you know, July, and I think I had maybe potentially talked about holding on to it since we have the silage and everything, but now that we don't have that, I think we kind of need the money. How is Grandma's knitwear doing for us? Doing well. It's doing well. 221 liters of clothes so far. We're definitely going to have to sell those clothes when it's time to sell them. Hopefully we'll have a pallet by next month. So realistically, it'll be the next episode, right? When June hits, hopefully we'll have a pallet. The price won't be as good as it could be, but it'll still be a lot better than if we were to wait till, you know, later in the year. I think the best time to sell clothes is April and May, so we're like right around now. So hopefully it won't be too big of a drop-off, right? Now, if I set this up perfectly here, now I'm having to do this the manual way, right, of course, but if I set it up perfectly, I actually have the chance to hit 3 stalks, or 3 rows, with the harvest at the same time, which is pretty nice, actually. Makes it a lot faster. So anyway, we've got work to do here, gang. We've got to get this whole field harvested, as mentioned, then we've got to plow it up. And then we'll go from there as far as selling these pallets potentially, and obviously selling the other pallets that we have, the empty pallets over there that we have, that we no longer are going to be able to use. right, the field is all harvested. We're just going to throw these pallets up here on the low loader. The other one I think I could have auto-loaded with them, but that's all right. We're just going to use this one, especially since we already have these pallets on here. There's not many of these corn pallets, and I can pick them up by hand, so... Did find the culprit of why this field has so many issues. It's down there in the corner. There's a little bit of a section there that's connected to our cotton field, so that's the main reason why we were having the issues with the lines there. Now, what I think I'm going to do, I talked about, you know, expanding the field, and I'm going to be doing that, but I think what we're going to take is we're going to take this field here, and we'll probably take maybe half of this field and combine it over here, and then the other half of this field will be combined into this awkward-shaped field. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing here. Gives us a bit more for cotton, and then the other field can have a little bit more as well, which it may end up being cotton as well. Who knows? We'll figure that out later on, though. That is not for right now. I don't know why I put that on that side. I should have put it on the other side. It was a mistake. Oh, well. So we ended up getting almost 6 full pallets, right? It's really 5 and, I don't know, 5 3/4, maybe a little more than 5 3/4 pallets. All right, we are stacked up and ready to go. So 5,818 liters of corn. Not a ton, but you know what? It's money that we desperately need right now, so we're going to go for it and sell it and make a little bit of money here. Now, I believe the shovel is already at the shop. If you recall in the last episode, we had issues with the shovel kind of getting, well, stuck underneath the trailer here when we lower it to the ground. So we can pick that up and bring it back, since I think I'm going to keep it. Even if we don't end up utilizing it, it'll just be, it's a nice to have kind of thing, right? All right, let's see what we get here. All right, not too shabby at all. $150 for, I don't know why it was giving me $150 for some of that, but whatever. 6659. Maybe we had some extra silage in there I didn't see. I don't think we did we? I don't know. Either way, we're going to sell the boxes now, though. Which, I think if I go about it this way, I think it'll allow me to sell them. I hope it does. If not, I'm just going to have to go into the menu and sell them, I suppose. Okay, it does not. So, how do I sell these things? Can I sell these things? Maybe I can't. Maybe after you buy them, they're there for forever. Here we go. Fillable pallet. Alright, they're all sold. Those are considered vehicles, evidently, which is kind of funny, but, you know, whatever. Alright, there's my shovel, which I should probably change the color of it. I've been complaining about the color, and it's hard to see. I made it the wrong way. I should have made the handle blue, and the rest of the shovel white, so it's very easy to see when it's in the grass, but I did not do that, so, oh well, too late. All right, so we've got $9,152. So technically, if we really wanted to, and I kind of think it probably is the smart thing to do, we could go ahead and move the crickets to a different location. That's kind of what I've been talking about doing, right? Was moving them to a different location. I know I'm wasting money from when I started, but when I started, I thought the land that I was putting stuff on was a lot smoother than it actually ended up being. Turns out it was not. So it's just causing us a lot of issues. I know a lot of you have said, you know, well, this trailer helped us out tremendously, but a lot of you said just build a ramp, you know, like a natural ramp or whatever. You can definitely do that. It just would spend a lot of money, and then eventually I'd be smoothing it back out anyway, so it's not something I really wanted to do there. And I know moving this stuff is you know, causing us to lose a lot of money, but, you know, the crickets themselves were making about $1,000 per pallet, and I would argue at this point that we've made our money back on that, so I can absolutely sell it, especially at the fact that we're going to get a little bit of the money back when we do sell it and move it elsewhere. Now, what I was initially thinking about for that, we're not going to do it yet, even if I do it today, which I'm not quite sure I'm going to. Ooh, there was a pallet over there I could have grabbed and brought up there and sold. Oh, well. Even if I do it today, which, again, I'm not confident I'm going to be doing it today, but even if I do it today, I was going to put it down here. This area right here is relatively flat, and it's real close to there as well. But I'm not quite sure if it'll fit there. You know, having you know, seen what we have here, we might need to wait until we harvest this field, which is why I'm saying I probably won't do it today if we do it down here. So I guess for the time being, we'll leave it there. But it does need to be somewhere else where it's a little bit flatter, like our Grandma's Knitwear is in a nice flat area, right? This is not. You can just see by looking at it that, you know, the marks and imprints that's occurred that we don't really want, right? Alright, just don't kill any of that crop over there, Z, and you'll be good. Like I said, I'm not going to be putting anything in the ground here because we are going to expand a little bit with that field there. We're going to kind of expand the fields a bit. I am going to spend some money probably to... well, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just keep this as another cotton field here. And then we can have that little strip between them, and I can try to fix it down here. If I do a little paint work down here, maybe it'll fix it. Maybe? I guess we could figure that out right now, actually. Maybe that's what I should do. That'd probably be smarter. They can both be cotton right next to each other. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be connected, right? Let me see if this is going to work or not. Let me see. I'll spend a tiny, tiny bit of money just to see if this would work. It should. In theory, it should work. Okay, grass. Here we go. Right, that should, in theory, resolve that, right? I don't think there's anything else that it's close. It's close up here, but it's not really, I don't think, touching. I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. I guess we'll find out right now, right? I guess we'll find out. Let me turn on the steering assist here for the plowing and see what happens. Nope. Nope. Alright, well, I might have wasted a tiny bit of money there putting that grass down, but that's alright. We'll figure it out, I guess, as we move forward here. There's something that's still connected there. It doesn't think that's two separate fields, so we'll have to see what we can do to try to resolve that as we move forward. Anyway, it is nice to be able to utilize the tractor here. This is a lot faster than doing it by hand, of course. One thing I would like to get pretty soon is a seeder, right? We talked about getting a seeder before. The problem was when we decided to do that, we realized that we're not going to be able to do everything, right? But it would be nice to have one for some fields because it would be a lot faster to do those specific fields, right? Wouldn't be able to do everything, of course, right? Cotton and stuff, we'd still have to do it manually, and, you know, a lot of it, really, we'd have to still do manually, but... Now, all these rocks that are in here, I'm actually going to leave these here for right now because we're going to put down a cover crop. And then once that cover crop's ready, we'll plow that up. You know, get our little bit of fertilizer down, and then we can pick the stones up at that point, right? When we go to actually drill it with something. So what do we want to put in that field up there? What do we want to put in there? I don't know the answer. Anything in the used market for us today? No. No, not really. Same thing as last time. I was hoping maybe something else would pop out there. You know, one thing I wish on console, I'm on console in case you don't know that, but one thing I wish, you know, on console we had the access to was the leasing mod. Where you lease something, you know, lease to own kind of thing, right? Where you lease it for so long and then eventually you can buy it out. I'd also love the ability to have a hell of a lot more things in the used market than 4 or 5 items at most. You know, a lot of... no, crust use, for example, but a lot of individuals who are doing this challenge, right, they've got 20, 25, 30 items in the used market. It makes their life a lot easier. We don't get that luxury here, unfortunately, right? We've got a very limited amount of things, so... It would just be nice to have that. I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to be able to get it, unfortunately, for whatever reason. But it would be nice to have that. Okay, so the only thing left we have to do, really, that we have to do, is seed this field. Now, I've been talking, and I've been kind of going back and forth because I'm not quite sure, but I've been talking about, you know, getting rid of this. It'll give us almost $5,000, so we absolutely can put another one down. It would drop down the money we have overall quite a bit. But what it would do is, in essence, what in my eyes at least, I can take this field and then kind of come over like this, and then wrap back around over here, right? Bit of a weird shape, but it would be a larger field. This could, well, here actually we can figure this out. Actually, I should have done this beforehand. We need to go to greenhouses. This should, yeah, it says not enough money, but it doesn't say anything about it not being our land. No, it doesn't say anything about it anywhere, though, so to be fair, I don't know. But I think, in essence, especially like right here, I think you could easily put it right here. And it's, maybe it's not as flat as I thought it was. All right, well, I think I'll hold off then. We'll do one more, seeding there. And then make our decision at that point, I guess. Right? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? right, that field is all done. Now, one thing we could potentially do, I've talked about it in the past, is, buy a roller of some sort. I still am going to be getting a roller at some point soon, but it won't be today. I want to have a relatively okay size roller, something that can be pulled by our tractor specifically. I don't want a push roller. I hate rolling. All of you know that. Those of you who've been around for a long time at least know that. It's probably my least favorite job, with the exception maybe of doing potatoes. Other than that, it is by far one of my least favorite things in the world. So because of that reason, I'm not going to get the roller until we have enough money to buy a decent-sized one that's actually going to make a difference, that can be pulled by the tractor. Now, there's probably one out there. As a matter of fact, we can go take a look. But there's probably one out there, actually, right now that I say that can be utilized. That's not outrageously expensive. Yeah, so we could get something like this. That's probably, honestly, sufficient for the size of the fields that we currently have. I would almost argue it 100% is. But I think I'm going to wait to do that for a little bit later. Yeah, I think I'll wait. I think I'll wait that one out a little bit. Okay, so this field's plowed up, ready to go. As I mentioned, when we harvest this field, we will be combining this field with parts of this field, and then I'm going to spend a little bit of money and take part of this field and combine it with this one. I just think, having two larger fields here make a lot more sense. We've got these small ones here, and then this one here, and then if we decide to, make it a weird shape or just make a small field here, whatever we decide to move the crickets, I think there's enough. I think there's enough fields. So, and since we're going pretty heavy on cotton, I kind of want to have a really large cotton field. This is a large cotton field, but I kind of want to make it even bigger. So we're going to kind of accomplish that with that. So that's kind of the next step. So this is the area I was talking about maybe moving the crickets to, right? And it is relatively flat, but there are parts of it which are not that flat. It's certainly not as severe as this is. As you can clearly tell, this one was pretty severe change, pretty severe drop-off, I should say. We also could literally just put it right here if we wanted to. We know this area right here is flat, so we could put that there, so I suppose, too. But I think for the time being, I would rather just keep the 9,000 bucks that we have right now and move that a little bit later on, so that's what we're going to do. The sheep are moving along nicely. They're fine. There's no problems there. Want to get them to continue to reproduce. Their health is already going up, as you can see. We are still in May, so it hasn't been a whole month yet. Once June hits, their health should be at 100%. Meadow grass should also be there by next month as well, which is only going to help. Not that we really need any grass for any time soon, but it'll be there in case they want it, I guess. The other thing we could potentially do, with some of this money, and I don't think we will, but we could buy this tiny little plot here of 73. What it basically does is anything to the right of this shed now, so there's not much land here, but this little land here, it allows us to buy that and own that. In essence, we could take the cotton field and kind of expand it out further, right? But that's really the only point of that, and the other point is, you have to own all of the fields, right? You have to own every piece of land, right? That's part of the actual challenge of the series, right? But we'll get it at some point, but I think my focus honestly at this point is I want to get something like this, which is pretty expensive, but I want something with a little bit more to it. Maybe we go with 80. 80's got a little bit more to it, right? This one just doesn't really seem worth buying right now, but we'll buy it at some point. So it looks like we've already got wool started. 6 liters of wool, not much, but there's some there. There's some, so we'll take it. For some reason, I thought that spawned over here. I'm not sure why I thought it spawned over here. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't. I don't know why I thought for some reason it was spawning over here, but whatever. At least it's spawning. At least we don't have an issue with that, I guess, right? So, a bit of a shorter one, maybe? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's not a short one. I don't know. But we're going to leave the episode at this point regardless. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like, subscribe button. In the case you've yet to do so, they are free. They help me out a ton. When we get back here the next time, it'll be June. We'll be harvesting the big, massive cotton field among a few other fields as well. Thanks to my members so much for all their continued support. It does mean the world to me. If you want to become a member, there is a link down below. You get early access to videos like this one. Discord's down there, second channel's down there, everything you need. As always, it's down below. thanks so much for watching, gang. Thanks so much for your continued support, as always, and I'll see you next time.